So, Lord, I just thank you for this time of gathering, Lord, and I thank you for family and friends and friends and family and friends that are family. And Lord, I thank you for this family right here that you have put together for such a time as this, that you have purposed us to drill and expose what the enemy is doing right now. Lord, I ask for favor as we move forward into the rest of this year and into next year, Lord. I ask for wisdom as things really begin to heat up and start flying at us. And Lord, I ask for your protection over us as we do the things that you're calling us to do right now. And I just ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
To fulfill the requirements of the office completely. Nothing left undone. That's the objective. And one of the ways to do that, we think, is to provide you with incontrovertible evidence that what we are telling you is true and how you can quickly, easily, with the internet, validate everything that I'm saying. So, let's start with the first deception that we know of on Oregon. We're not going to get hung up in it, but we're going to start there. Oregon became a state 1859. What happened after that? Lincoln, the secession, the war, the cessation of fighting, that whole thing happened, and the fraud and the deceit set in. And the first part of it is the documents that came back from Washington, District of Columbia, are pretty sure from several different sources, such as the office of the President Buchanan. His office will confirm that, yes, he did sign the Oregon statehood documents. And yes, it's recorded in the Library of Congress. So we're pretty sure that we have statehood documents someplace, but we cannot find them and nobody will tell us where they are, which seems a little bit strange. But the National Archives will not, the Library of Congress will not, Oregon's archives in Salem will not, the Secretary of State office on Oregon will not provide Oregon's statehood documents. Can't get them. So we have to deal with a facsimile, the best we can do, until the original comes along. Now, there's a guy out in Eastern Oregon that says he has a legitimate copy that he got himself in DC, but I haven't seen it yet. But Oregon's a state among the several states of the United States of America. That is a specific jurisdiction. Oregon is the 33rd and the last state among the several states of the United States of America a confederation and perpetual union. That existed in 1859, and it existed until South Carolina left in 1860. So there is that jurisdiction of 33 states and a Congress assembled, being the original and legitimate government of all of the states, and the United States, the government service company in Washington, District of Columbia, that has been absent for a long time also, operated by color of law. But all of that information is available and it can be found, and we know all of that. We also know that in March 1861, we lost that jurisdiction. That jurisdiction became color of law, which morphed into Lieber Code, which morphed into martial law, which morphed into ex parte Milligan, and went through all kinds of changes, corporate and new constitutions, and just what you get when you have a coup. And that's what we had. And we're still in it. All except for Oregon. We have read the code, deciphered it, and utilized all of the options and completed the task without rebuttal. Not one sheriff out of way over 40 now. I don't know how many have come and gone since we started this in 2017, but however many sheriffs that is. And I know that it's at least 38 prosecutors on Oregon. And that includes JAG and the Attorney General. So there we are. All of those are party to a constitution that has no authority. And they give it authority by abiding by the color of law. But they can't do it anymore. We're not going to do anything about Amendment XIII or anti-titles of nobility that was left out of Oregon's official 2 history books by Matthew Deedy, who lied twice, once for sure in each book. But we're not going there right now. Where we're going right now is 1910. There is no information available that will substantiate Article 7 amended. It doesn't exist. I have an unsigned document I got by email from Dexter years ago. Ron, the information you want does not exist. That's right, it doesn't. It's color of law. All you attorneys and judges have agreed to abide by color of law. Well, I'm not in that group. Neither are all the rest of the men and women on Oregon. We are Article 3 in the United States of America's Constitution, circa 1859. In that article, the judiciary, that court is the court where a man can find remedy against the state. And that's what we're looking for, remedy against the state. The state is bogus, and what it is representing is bogus, and it must be made responsible for it. We are no longer deceived, and they must relinquish the keys. There you go. So we have Oregon the state, and Oregon the state has 36 sheriffs. And the 36 sheriffs all know with incontrovertible evidence that Article 7 amended is bogus, and that Oregon is a common law state. And Article 7, circa 1859, without any revisions, is common law. And Amendment 7, the amendment in the Bill of Rights, in suits in common law. And you can have suits in common law in 6 different courts, one of them being criminal. But in suits in common law, when the value is over $20, it requires a jury to come up with a verdict. And courts determine what the law is, not judges. Courts judge the law. And the jury determines the facts. And we have done that. Now, I've heard people say, but I don't believe it. We don't care what you don't believe. It's what the facts dictate. It's not belief. It's what is. And we have sheriffs, such as Sam Elliott on Yamhill, that need to do the right thing. We have several sheriffs that need to do the right thing. My county's Washington County. I'd like to see Caprice do the right thing. So it's sheriffs. Without a sheriff, you have no Leo on the county. Everything flows from the sheriff as far as law, and then statutes, and then ordinances, and then rules, and then foreclosures, and all the things that a sheriff is required to do. And the sheriff is required to have all of their bona fides and credentials in order. And at least a third of his budget goes to taking care of the courts. And if you're taking care of the courts, you better make sure that the court you're taking care of is an actual court and not color of law. Play pretend. Because that's what we have dealing now and Article 7 amended until all of those judges take a proper oath to the proper Constitution with the laws of nature and nature's God included. That's what's required. It's not something made up. It's something that we must have. Or we have anarchy. Or we have this state where we have what's going on now. And it's ridiculous. When you let idiots drive long enough, this is what you get. So, you can look up any place you want on the internet for 20 minutes, and if you're not real good, get some help, get your grandkids to help you, and look up 13 titles of nobility, and look at the deception that is published right there. They tell you what happened and when it happened, and they tell you about the deceit. And if you can be deceived, they'll do it. They'll let you. So we know that that's a lie. And we know that everything that has been done to take away our unalienable rights since March 1861 has been done in color of law. And we have not had government since December of 1860. So if our group on Oregon, the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, can figure this all out and publish it, signed, sealed, stamped, witness, proof of service, and go without rebuttal, step by step for 7 years, it's not what you believe is true. It's what is published. It is what you, as deputy sheriffs and law enforcement and the judiciary, promise to uphold. There it is. Do the right thing. Do your oath. Keep it. We haven't had judiciary for a really long time. We've had color of law. We haven't had a legislature on Oregon since January 21st, 2021. We haven't had a governor because both Kate Brown and Tina Kotek are with verdicts of they have no honor. They cannot hold a position of trust. They broke their oath. Just like Suzanne Bonamici, Jeff Merkley, and Ron Wyden. All of that is over and done with. It's law, it's fact, and it's all published. And not one of you has rebutted anything. Therefore, it stands. And we will enforce it. And I yield. Hello. The title on this is Quiet Title Being Sought on the Marco Hatfield Federal Building. You may not know what quiet title is. When a property's ownership, deed, transfer of title is not clear, and it needs to be clear, you can file for a quiet title. And all of those that have a spoon in the pot are invited to present their bona fides. What is your claim? So, if you have a claim, bring it. If you can't support your claim, you won't submit it. And we'll find out who really owns the Marco Hatfield Federal Building. There are two lawful names, the United States of America and the United States. Neither name is used in the recorded Multnomah County records. They are the only jure names of original jurisdiction. Just two names, constitutionally, circa 1859. Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, 1856. There is the creator of the government service company, our United States of Washington District of Columbia, and that creator is a quorum of the several states that include South Carolina, meeting in a Congress assembled, such as the Electoral College. This assembly is taking place currently on Oregon. Our grand jury meets every Monday at 7 p.m. on Teams. Undoing the coup that started March 1861, coming out of the de facto District of Columbia, joined by the state of Oregon, aka all cap state of Oregon, during the warring between our perpetual union of 33 states and 17 territories. This was solidified with Article 7 amended in the Oregon Constitution, becoming the de facto color of law incorporated governance on Oregon, November 8, 1910. The Hatfield Federal Building is complicated. It is built on 6 parcels of land, still owned by the original owners that were seized by eminent domain. There is no record of Oregon's legislature authorizing the land, so it is not jure, it's de facto. What we'll find out, quiet title. It is part of the de facto city of Portland as a subdivision of the county of Multnomah, as a subdivision of the state of Oregon, as a subdivision of the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., in some form. We are no longer deceived. There's a bunch of us. This is not Article 4, Section 4, a constitutional Republican form of government. De facto. The sheriffs and deputies on Oregon ought to think about this. There are several hundred of us. If it were thousands, we would need a large paid staff. If we need them, they will come. I thought that the triggers so far would do it. Athens, Tennessee. We would prefer you do the work as you contracted for and was agreed upon, and that Article 7 amended is defrauding the people for the benefit of the members of the Oregon State Bar. The people on our counties are looking up to the senior elected executive on each county, our sheriff, and expecting an honorable, proper, lawful, constitutional job out of our sheriff. Those same people have formed into an Article 1, Section 1, the social compact, the jure, provisional common law government on Oregon. We are handing down directives from the laws of the land and soil jurisdiction of Article 3, one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction, Article 7, Amendment 7, Civilian Common Law Court of Record, having implemented ex parte Milligan. You cannot remain in the office of sheriff, as the current de facto governance would have you do. We are no longer deceived. You must comply or vacate the office of sheriff. Your greatest mark of acceptance and honor is when people that would not betray us recommend you. The greatest mark of an intelligent solution is how closely we agree with your credentials, filling the requirements of the office of sheriff. We all agree with a basic reason. So the claim is reversible. This is about the split between good and evil. It's right down to it. The sheriffs will either comply. Article 7 will be common law. We will have no judiciary other than what is original jurisdiction, 1859. And we will have a constitutional Republican form of government. And it starts with the sheriffs. I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I thought, I swear to God, he was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.